This evening, the award will be given to an individual who has been an advocate for the Ohio oil and gas industry. Their work ethic, honesty, and integrity have led to better exploration, development, and production of the natural resources found in our great state. The vision and leadership they have demonstrated will be recognized tonight. Congratulations to this year's recipient of the Ohio Oilfield Patriot Award for their distinguished service.
Jerry, on behalf of the Ohio Oil and Gas Association and our entire 3,200 members, congratulations on being the 2015 Patriot Award recipient. Job well done. Thank you very much, friend. Here you go. You ready? You got a place where you're going to put this? Well, I don't know. Thanks. Congratulations. Want to say a few words?
Wow. I don't know what to say. I'm honored and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed because I know I don't deserve this award. But I'm honored because some of you think I did. I accept it on behalf of the old timers. The ones that laid the foundation of this organization. The Oil and Gas Association has been one of the best run and most effective organizations. I know you support it and you'll continue to support it. It's very important. I would hate to think what the oil and gas business in Ohio would be like without this association. And my claim to fame with this association is that I was on the executive committee when we hired Tom Stewart.
Should have blown up there.
And I didn't never thought you'd last. But it's really overwhelming to get this award. And you know, I have some people I need to thank. Lots of people I need to thank. But I'm just going to pick out a few tonight that have been part of my career for quite a long time. There's Suzanne Beck. We've worked together for over 20 years. And she's one of those gals that just kind of takes over the office and takes charge of everything. And I found out when I took a vacation earlier this year that things run better without me. Sometimes I just get in the way. And then there's Chris Figgy. You know, I've worked with Chris for over 30 years. I used to be a consultant when he was running L&M. And Chris has been a partner since in many, many ventures with me. Some good and some not so good. But I'll tell you what kind of partner he is. We drove to dry a hole, and next day somebody had to call Chris, tell him that we had a dry hole. We still a dry hole, and Chris, by the way, we forgot to tell you you had an interest in it. We sent him a bill and he paid it. Now, who wouldn't want a partner like that? Then there's Dick Bowling and Dave Hill. You know, I've always been kind of lazy, and I needed somebody to do the hard, heavy lifting and the dirty work. And You know, now when lightning hits a tank battery, they call one of them, they don't call me. I find out about a week later. When some lady, one old lady's getting gas off of our well, and she calls in the middle of the night on the coldest day of the year saying, furnace is out, they don't call me, they call one of them. Dick and Dave, you've been carrying me for a long time, so thank you. And I tell you, there's my wife. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her. We got married between, quite a while ago, between my sophomore and junior year at A&M. And her life savings and job put me through the last 2 years of school. And then we packed up and went to Lafayette, Louisiana. Didn't know a soul there, and he talked funny. Then we went to the Army, back to Lafayette and New Orleans. Then I heard about a Morrow County boom in Ohio. We came up and looked over, and we decided to come on up, and we had 2 kids in tow. And I came up and hung out my shingle, quit the best job I ever had with a major oil company. And she never knew when I was going to be home. Weekends, holidays, usually when we had company, I was gone. But she stayed through me through thick and thin. And there was some thin. You know, if the kids needed new clothes, she had to make them. And she kept the reports for the first 15 years, and she kept the books, and she's still keeping the books. This is for you. Anyway, the good Lord willing, 1 month from tomorrow, we'll celebrate her 60th. I've really been greatly blessed. I've been able to make a living in something I really enjoy doing, around people I really enjoy being around, in the greatest industry the world's ever known, in the greatest country the world's ever known. Have you ever thought about what the American oil and gas industry has done? It has created so much wealth. And not only for the people in the industry, but for the people who build the hotels and the restaurants and the steel mills, and some farmer gets a nice gas check and he buys a new tractor. It's created just lots of wealth. And it's been doing that from the very start. It's the innovator and pusher of discovery and production of oil and gas in this world. From Titusville, to Burning Springs, to Finley, to Spindletop, to the Persian Gulf, to Venezuela, to the North Sea, to the North Slope, to the Gulf of Mexico, and all places in between, and to the new shale revolution. And by the way, I do want to thank Nathan Andrus and his crew for taking me under the wing and kind of educating me on the shale. We really appreciated what you're doing. Thank you. But not only have we created wealth in this industry, but we've created a better life and a quality of life for everybody. That's everybody in the country and many people in the world. You know, the first oil that was produced before we had automobiles, it was refined into kerosene and used for lighting. Before that, lighting was mostly by candle and whale oil. And this industry saved the whales. And then we teamed up with the automobile industry. And no longer do you have to look down and watch your step when you cross the road. And in World War II, without this industry, the outcome could have been different. But if it wasn't, it would have been greatly shortened by this industry and saved a lot of lives. Even today, we're cleaning up the atmosphere. And you're a part of that industry, whatever you do in it. From the Exxon CEO to the roughneck, whatever you do. You're part of that, creating this better life for people. And there's two reasons I think we do that in the United States in the American oil and gas industry. And one is called the free enterprise system. A lot of people don't like the free enterprise system. They say it's not fair. Their definition of fair is every game ends in a tie. But fair is win or lose, you play by the rules. And this competition is what's making it great. It is through those profits that our environment has done better. Those guys that save the whales, they didn't start out to save the whales. They started out to make profit. Those guys that stopped the horse pollution, they didn't start out to do that. They started out to make profit. And even today, we're not starting out to clean up the atmosphere. We're starting out to make a profit. Profit is a good word, and I'd like to have some more of it. So hang in there and work at it. And the other reason, I said two, one's enterprise. The other reason is the private ownership of oil and gas rights. Did you know that we have drilled more wells in the United States than have all the rest of the world combined? Because of private ownership of oil and gas rights. And be wary when some politician or some journalist starts talking about oil and gas rights in the state of Ohio. They're not talking about what Ohio State owns in oil and gas under Salt Fork. By the way, they mismanaged that. They could have picked up several $100 million out of that. But they're talking about trying to get a little bit of oil and gas rights with everybody else's. They want to confiscate. They don't have to have a deed to do that. They can do that in two ways. One, they can raise the severance tax above what is needed to supervise the industry. And whatever money is above, they're taking a little nip out of everybody's oil and gas rights. And the thing about that, they're not going to be satisfied with a little nip. In a few years, they're going to want to make a bigger one. In a few years, they're going to make a bigger one than that. And the other way they do it is through regulations that are expensive and ridiculous. And the worst example of that I can think of is the state of New York. Now, the state of New York banned hydrofracking in the Marcellus horizontal wells. And the landowners along the Pennsylvania line can look across the road and they can see the Pennsylvania farmer reaping tens of thousands of dollars out of his mineral rights when they don't get a dime. What would have happened if all the states had been like New York? What do you think the price of gasoline would be, and how big a depression do you think would be in? You know, our founding fathers knew that government was necessary. But they also knew that it was like a wild horse. It had to be tamed before it could be served to people. And if you don't restrain it, it turns out to be a monster. And it will devour the fruits of your labor, and it will consume your freedoms. Sean, your main job is to train wild horses and restrain monsters. You know, there's some sheik over in Saudi Arabia. He's got his hand on the oil valve over there, the master valve. And up until last November, he'd pinch it back a little bit, just a little bit. And last November, something changed. And he stopped pinching it back, and he started opening up just a little bit. And the price of oil's cratered, and the price of gasoline cratered. And you know why he changed? He changed what he was doing because of what you do. And everybody that goes out to fill up their tank with cheap gas, you ought to be getting a thank you note. But instead, you've got people that berate you. You know, but I don't care what any hypocritical, self-appointed environmentalist flying around in their private jet says that you're killing the polar bears. I don't care if some naive student who doesn't know he doesn't know, inspired by some liberal professor that's educated beyond his intelligence, says about you polluting the groundwater. I don't care what some, trying to say a journalist, who is wrapped up in an agenda, who is lazy, and he says you're working for a fracking company, drilling a fracking well on a fracking location with a fracking rig. And if anybody within 5 miles of there is going to die an early death, some kind of radiation poisoning or heart disease or some kind of cancer. I don't care what some egotistical politician says when he thinks he can garner a few votes by calling you greedy, mean-spirited. I don't care what anybody says about you. I know who you are, and I am proud to be one of you. Thank you for what you do, and thank you for this award.